Good morning.
Hi, Tina Traster. And before we even talk to you, I'd like to say that Tina Traster's Rockland Business Journal report every Monday at this time is brought to you in part by the Ugel Law Firm.
Hello, I'm Scott Ugel of the Ugel Law Firm. I don't have to tell you how our world has dramatically changed. Today, many people are suffering financially and often do not know where to turn for help as they have many questions. I have been practicing consumer law for over 35 years and have handled thousands of cases where we help people save their home through loan modifications and or forbearance agreements by going to state Supreme Court, bankruptcy court, or without having to go to court at all. Please give me a call, as every situation is different, and let me tell you how I might be able to help you or someone you love. I'm Scott Ugel of the Ugel Law Firm.
And now, officially, good morning, Tina Traster.
Officially, good morning, Rockland County. How is everybody? I hope all the mothers out there in the land were feted yesterday.
Well, the sun's starting to break through, according to Jeff, so that's good. That just hearing that makes me feel good.
Same here, same here. I'm going to pose a question, and I'm going to fill in some information, and hope maybe we'll hear from some people out there. If not on the phone this morning, then to email me their thoughts on this topic.
How do you email you? I think somebody asked me that a while back.
Yeah, so it's just Traster.
Traster?
That's right.
Okay.
At rcbizjournal, bizjournal.com.
Mm-hmm.
And you can, if you want, you can put that on the site wherever it is you promote RC Biz Journal. So the question of the day is a vaccine mandate pro-business or anti-business? And it is a conversation that is going to be contemplated throughout the land now and going forward over the next many months. The Norwegian cruise line, for example, is threatening to keep its ships out of Florida ports after the state enacted legislation that prohibits businesses from requiring proof of vaccination against COVID-19 in exchange for services. So essentially what has happened in Florida is that they have passed a law where no business can, by law, mandate vaccinations. In contrast, say, while many events in New York, such as Major League Baseball and National Basketball Association, state health and safety guidelines require that fans provide some sort of proof of vaccination or at least a negative coronavirus test within 72 hours of attendance. And on May 3rd, Governor Cuomo announced that places where proof of vaccination or a negative COVID test is required can operate at greater capacity. So, what can we do as a county is the question. I don't know if this can be legislated on a county-wide basis, but according to the CDC, Rockland County has maintained either a high or very high risk for unvaccinated people. Our 14-day test positivity rating still hovers at 3%, and only 34% of our population is fully vaccinated, 34%. Now, contrast that with Westchester, where they've got 43% who are fully vaccinated. Ulster, 44% fully vaccinated. Putnam, 41% fully vaccinated. Dutchess, 40%. The only other county that's sort of on par with us, but even slightly ahead, is Orange County. So of the 6 counties in the lower Hudson Valley region, Rockland has the lowest rate of full vaccination. Now, we all remember the measles outbreak of 2019. That was just a mere 2 years ago, although it feels like it was a lifetime and a half ago. And back then, Rockland declared a state of emergency for measles and banned unvaccinated minors from schools, houses of worship, shopping centers, and public transportation. And even though ultimately a judge overturned the ban on technical grounds, many believe that, when Ed Day declared the ban, it worked to raise public awareness, and it ultimately did compel parents to vaccinate their children against measles. So what should we do? Should we follow here in this county? Should we follow New York's guidelines and require proof of vaccination? Or should we be like Florida and say that a business cannot refuse access or services for the unvaccinated? Or is there some middle ground? People are going to have to make choices about starting to be in congregate situations like movie theaters and concert halls and restaurants and other environments, and then the question really is going to fall to the business owner, and it might be very lonely and confusing for each owner to have to figure out what is best practice, what is the best policy. How do we navigate this? How do we not step on freedom, but at the same time not curtail or discomfort those who want to know that they're around other people who are vaccinated? I mean, we're opening up fully, and yet, as I said, we're only at a 31% full vaccination rate. So we've got a very long way.
Are you sure about that, though? Is that all we are as of when? I mean, people.
Yeah, as of last night when I did the research.
Honestly, wow.
Yeah, that's low, right?
Yeah, indeed.
Yeah. We're much lower than, as I said, the state level. I think is. I'm trying to remember. I'm trying to remember the national level at this point. I think that's over 40%. But if you I just think it's interesting that if you look at all of our neighboring counties, they're at least sort of 6 to 10 points ahead of us at this point. So what is Rockland going? What are Rockland businesses going to do? What choices are they going to have to make? Should they close their doors to the unvaccinated? Should they just continue to require masks? And what about employees? That's the other side of this coin. Should there be an employee vaccination mandate? Right now, employers are allowed to require their employees to get vaccinated as a condition of coming to the workplace, but should they? So keep in mind that vaccinated people who get exposed to COVID, do not have to quarantine. So ultimately, it's really it's a battle. It's very complicated. That turns on an individual's right to refuse a vaccine versus people acting for the greater good. Does your right to decline a vaccination trump the public's right to end an economically devastating pandemic? So it's a very tough issue. I don't know if you guys have been vaccinated. I don't know what's
Yeah, we both have. Jeff's, I think, in the other studio right now. We both have. And just everybody I know just about. I travel in a very small circle, I'll be the first to admit. But I cannot believe that number. I'm not challenging you, but I cannot believe it's only 31% that's been vaccinated. I just can't believe it.
Well, if I'm wrong, I'll invite anybody who has better data to call in or to send me that email.
Please.
What we'd really like to have happen is for the audience out there, for business owners.
Do you know that?
So do I what?
She's saying that only 31% of the population of Rockland County has been vaccinated thus far.
Fully vaccinated or at least one shot?
Fully vaccinated.
I would go with that. That's probably right.
You really would?
Yeah. It's slowed down tremendously. The enthusiasm for the vaccine has slowed down tremendously.
And it's ultimately it's going to be very problematic for businesses. I'm thinking about this from the point of view.
There are locations around the country that are already starting to cancel things. They're asking them to send the vaccines that are going to go unused to India so they can handle it, best use it there.
I know. There are vaccine centers that have just closed down and given up. This is not good.
Yeah, no, it's not.
It's not good. So you guys have you have a good bully pulpit because you have a radio and you have a platform and you can talk about this.
Do you happen to know the percentage of people who got their first shot but didn't go back to the second for the second yet?
I know. When in a recent story that I read about that, the number was nationally. I don't know about Rockland.
Well,
Yeah, but nationally it was. Let me think a minute. I think it was 5 million people, and which represented 8% of the nation had not gone for that second vaccination. And I get it that the dread of that second vaccination is understandable. I've just gone through it. It was pretty miserable. But ultimately, I think it really turns on two things.
wait a minute. All right, go ahead.
No, well, one is going to be just the freedom that I can feel once again, so I don't feel frightened all the time. Every scratchy throat doesn't make me panic. And two, just as a responsible citizen, I guess ultimately, if we want to have a functioning society, if we don't want to, I think it's the difference between getting rid of COVID-19 or managing this as a way of life.
You intimated that, or implied, I should say, that the second vaccine was rough on you, the second shot?
Oh, my God, yes.
What was it?
Mine was not at all.
Pfizer?
No, the Moderna. I think women have a harder time with that second vaccine from what I've heard, but I had no symptom left behind. It was the everything experience.
For how long?
More than 3 days, and that was rough. It wasn't just a 24-hour
See,
thing.
for me, I just felt a little more sleepy than my first shot, and I took a 4-hour nap instead of a 2-hour nap, and so for me, it wasn't bad. But I know people, men, women, old, young, they've all had various. There's been no common thread with how one reacts to the second shot. I've not seen it yet. Not one single common thread.
No, the only thing we know is that I guess most people do feel something or a lot of something after the second. They say the Moderna is worse than the Pfizer. I haven't heard much about a reaction from the Johnson & Johnson.
I had Johnson & Johnson. I got nothing.
Yeah, I've heard that. But in the end of the day, didn't you after being vaccinated, didn't you feel like a cloud lifted over you?
No. Oh, yeah, yes, absolutely. That's perfectly said. That's exactly how I felt.
Didn't you feel like, I can breathe a little bit, literally, I could breathe a little bit more easily, and I can, if I go to a restaurant and there's not an outdoor table, or if I go to a restaurant and I think it's going to be a warm day and a big wind, kicks up, I can go inside now. And
I don't remember exactly. I don't know if I felt that dramatic, but it was March 10th, and I was just glad to get in and out, and I said, that's it, that's enough, let's get on with it.
I'll tell you, that feeling didn't really come over me until I was 2 weeks out of my second shot, because I still felt, they tell you still have to wait, I think it was 2 weeks before you're really soaking it all in, and whatever the scientific terminology would be, but that's when I felt better.
Well, you guys have your finger on the pulse. Why do we have vaccine hesitancy here in Rockland?
Who knows?
I mean, what's the issue?
Well, I think if you tune in on Monday nights at 5 o'clock, you might hear exactly why it's an issue. I suggest you do that.
Yeah.
We have a show. There's her name is Patricia Finn. She's called the Good Health Lawyer, and she is one of those who is in the camp where vaccines are not necessary, and she represents people who don't want to be forced to take it, and she can provide lots of what she calls proof and reason why people might not take a vaccine from her perspective.
Yeah, I mean, I try not to inject an opinion too often, but I kind of think that's a shame. I think, I think we want to move forward, right?
But I'm serious though. Give her a listen and listen to what she has to say, and then you may understand it, but more differently.
Yeah, no, I mean, I understand the anti-vaxxer, sympathy, but I don't know.
Anyway, before your website again,
So it's rcbizjournal.com.
rcbizjournal.com. But if anybody wants to, in this little survey you're doing,
they want to get in touch with me and tell me what they think about what businesses should or shouldn't do. It's rcbizjournal. It's ttraster at rcbizjournal.com.
Tina, thanks a lot.
All right, talk to you next.
Talk to you next.